Where is the mainstream media? Where is Nancy Armour from USA Today? Where is our favorite stormtrooper with his battery-powered lightsaber, Mike Freeman? Where are all these Me Too girl power females who are analyzing the NBA for ESPN? Last night while we're making dinner, we were watching Clippers Heat on ESPN. Game gets to halftime and ESPN presents a halftime show that features just two women, one of which I believe is a current WNBA dump diver. You know, that's just one of many problems right now in the NBA, a league that is struggling to draw an audience. The Miami Heat, they have been to 2 NBA finals in the last 4 years. When I turned on that game last night and saw thousands of empty seats, I thought I was watching the WNBA dump. We might get into the problems in the NBA later today, but we're going to start the week by talking about the mainstream media and their potential betrayal of Caitlin Clark. For years now, the media, they have been begging us to give women's college basketball a chance. They've also been begging us to give the pretend basketball and the dump a chance. These masculine women are amazing! Who needs highlight reel dunks when you can watch highlight reel turnovers and airballed layups? Millions of people listened. Millions of people have been willing to give women's college basketball a chance. Now, of course, people still don't give a shit about the dump. They could play pretend basketball in bikinis, people still wouldn't watch it. But this season, people have been willing to give real women's basketball a chance, and one of the main reasons for that is Caitlin Clark. Throughout the season, the media, they have been putting added pressure on the Great White Hope. Caitlin Clark will save the WNBA. Finally, we have a bona fide star who will eventually be forced to apply for a job as an entry-level trash collector. Caitlin Clark is going to go from making damn near $1 million a year to making $75,000 in the dump. Well, Casey, that's simply not true. What about all her endorsement deals? Yeah, those disappear once you enter the basketball graveyard. Companies, they're only willing to pay you when you have a platform. Every week, Caitlin Clark is being watched by millions of people. Once she is forced to enter the WNBA, they don't count the number of people watching, they count the number of minutes watched. But since last March, the mainstream media, they have been fully supportive of Caitlin Clark and what she has done for women's college basketball, which is why I was incredibly confused this morning when I barely saw any mainstream media outlets coming to the defense of Katie Rue Clark. Over the weekend, Sheryl Swoopes, she was the guest on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Now, Sheryl Swoopes, she is described as a WNBA legend, meaning she was able to lift 2 trash cans at the same time instead of using both of her hands to just lift one. She also has the distinction of being employee number 1 in the dump. She was the first pooper swooper. With Sheryl Swoopes essentially starting the business of pretend basketball, you would think she would be supportive of the first superstar in women's basketball joining the league. Hell, you could actually say Caitlin Clark is the first real star in women's basketball. But instead, Sheryl Swoopes used this platform as an opportunity to diminish Caitlin Clark. Since Sherry Swooper couldn't criticize Katie Rue on her basketball skills, since she couldn't criticize Katie on her lack of star power, Sherry Swoopes borrowed a strategy from the mainstream media. When you can't tarnish someone based on merit, you simply make shit up. And that is exactly what Sheryl Swoopes did with Gilbert Arenas. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Right now, Caitlin Clark is on the verge of passing Kelsey the Plumber's all-time scoring record in pro basketball. Before Kelsey became the lead plumber in the dump responsible for emptying the waste out of the porta potties, she was a professional basketball player at the University of Washington. In her 4 years of professional basketball, Kelsey the Plumber scored over 3,500 points. Now, of course, this went completely unnoticed because no one was paying attention to women's college basketball due to the complete lack of star power at the time. But to her credit, Kelsey Plum seems to be fully supportive of Caitlin Clark breaking her scoring record. Sheryl Swoopes, not so much. Watch for yourself.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
You think exactly how
I don't think.
And the sad part is that record would never be broke because no one.
There'll never be another COVID year.
How can you be this uninformed? I don't even watch women's college basketball. Even I know Caitlin Clark is playing in her senior season this year. The COVID year Sheryl Swoopes is talking about, that would apply to next season. You know, the season Caitlin Clark is begging to come back for so she's not forced to enter the WNBA graveyard. I'm struggling to understand the logic here. First of all, we have never considered the amount of time played when it comes to breaking records. Tom Brady broke Drew Brees' passing record after Drew Brees had already retired. Took Tom Brady more games to break the record. His playing career was longer than Drew Brees. Does anyone consider Tom Brady to not be the record holder? Number two, this logic of shit fuckery. It doesn't even matter because Caitlin Clark, she's going to break the record in her senior year, the same year Kelsey Plum set the record. Not only that, it's going to take Caitlin Clark less games to break the record. But the line continued as Sheryl the Swooper dug through her garbage bag to reveal another polished turd. She put a nice coat of polish on this one. Next, Sheryl Swoopes, she claimed that Caitlin Clark's game isn't going to translate to the WNBA. Yeah, Sherry's claiming that a professional basketball player is not going to translate to pretend basketball. Now, in all fairness, she might be right. I mean, Caitlin Clark, she is not known for airballing shots. She's known for making them. Watch for yourself.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
You guys remember when Draymond Green was talking about the new media? This new media where players would cover their own league instead of having journalists cover it or having YouTubers who don't have an agenda covering the league? This right here, this is why this idea of a new media is complete bullshit. I hold Gilbert Arenas responsible here. Instead of fake laughing and playing along, oh, you're so funny, Sherry. Can I take a look at the other polished turds in your bag? Instead of endorsing her point, Gilbert Arenas, he should have stepped in instead. Sheryl Swoopes, you're full of shit. Took me all of 5 seconds to disprove the notion that Caitlin Clark takes 40 shots a game. Throughout her professional basketball career at Iowa, she takes less than 20 shots a game, and this season she's averaging about 22. Sheryl Swoopes also claimed that veteran dump divers in the WNBA, they would not allow Caitlin Clark to dominate the ball. She might be right, but if the WNBA wants the chance to break their decades-long trend of losing millions of dollars every year and being completely irrelevant in the mainstream, if dump divers want the chance to have people actually watch them play, they will get Caitlin Clark the ball. But it gets even better. Next, Sheryl Swoopes. She reached deep into her garbage bag to grab the ultimate polished turd. Once again, Gilbert Arenas and his team of new media refused to correct her. God forbid we have a man correct a woman. When a man corrects a woman, he gets accused of toxic masculinity. This time, Sheryl Swoopes decided that she would lie about the age of Caitlin Clark. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought there were two things that you were never allowed to ask or even mention about a woman. One is their weight. Unless, of course, you're talking about the Lizzo, who is proud of the comment and the number that represents her body positivity. The second thing you're not supposed to mention about a woman is her age. Remember when Donnie Lemon correctly stated that Nikki Haley was past her prime? The media, they pretended to be outraged. Poor Donnie didn't receive his annual visit from St. Nick where she slides down his chimney bringing him fresh lemons for the new year. But when it comes to discussing the age of Caitlin Clark, that's perfectly acceptable. Apparently, it's also acceptable to lie about her age. Watch for yourself.
Like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Mm-hmm. Like, you should be killing them.
Yeah.
It took me all of 5 seconds to figure out that Caitlin Clark had her 22nd birthday 2 weeks ago. It is abundantly clear at this point there is a level of jealousy with Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoopes, She seems jealous because she had one of the best careers in the WNBA and no one cared, while Caitlin Clark is receiving mainstream recognition and praise as a college player. Now, this is pure speculation on my part, but I think there could also be jealousy amongst WNBA dump divers, for the same reason that Sheryl Swoopes seems jealous. Even though the rest of us consider it to be garbage, employees in the dump, they believe their product is professional basketball. Their season runs unopposed from May to September. Their only competition is Major League Baseball, which, let's just be real here, Major League Baseball isn't competition to anything. Caitlin Clark is competing with the NFL, she's competing with the NBA, she's competing with men's college basketball, college football, yet somehow her star has risen amongst this level of competition. All the while, WNBA players can still travel through commercial airports completely unnoticed. My question is, where's the mainstream media? How come the media isn't coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark? You wanted us to embrace women's college basketball. You begged us to give them a chance. You got the biggest star in college basketball having her reputation tarnished by a jealous legend. You have the biggest star in college basketball being blatantly lied about. The same star that you begged us to embrace last year. And you mean to tell me not a single mainstream media outlet is coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark? Why? Where's Nancy Armour? Where's the Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman? Where's Malika Andrews? Give me your thoughts on this. WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes tarnishes Caitlin Clark with blatant lies and propaganda. There was nothing factual here, and Gilbert Arenas just sat back and allowed it to happen. Is there jealousy building with Caitlin Clark? Why does it seem like this could be another case of the media building someone up just to tear them down? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.